Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. We are here tonight with ANZCAR. It is Thursday night, it is the Thunder, and it is the trucks. We are getting ready to head out to the fantastic Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm as ever Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you up here in the booth. I'm joined by Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good mate. Good to be back here on a Thursday night. Bit of a super speedway on a 1.5 mile track. Um, so it's going to be interesting. Right at the moment out there, Riley Curtis is the quickest in warm up in the Cobalt 093 car. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes tonight. We did see those Cobalt trucks last week have a good run.
Yeah, we get to see them on track tonight and see who can get up there. Watch out for Riley because he's got Dave Douglas out there with him as well. It's both of those teammates tonight in the A1 team. So expect to see them having a good run. Teamwork's going to be crucial here. As you said, it's a bit like a super speedway now, Mark.
Yeah, with the changes and everything, it's really become a short super speedway. What they've got to be careful of though, Carl, is coming out of two. There's still those little bumps there on that low line, and that we'll see as the fuel gets lighter, all the trucks get a little bit unsettled, and coming out of turn 4 onto the tri-oval. Be careful. Got to be careful there because we will see the trucks get really light there.
Absolutely, it can really catch you out this place. Just quickly glancing at the weather for today's race: 29 degrees air temperature, 38 degrees track temperature. It is hot Lanta, as we say. So we are looking for another scorcher here tonight. Track information: 2 miles in length. Track temperature, as we said, 130 laps here tonight. So let us start by going through the starting grid for today's race as I quickly try and remember where that button is as I go completely blind as we just get that one all up. They're all starting to line up on the grid.
Got to be careful of that front row. It's the Mitch boys out there in front. Jason Martin off pole, Josh Micklemore out of second. They're going to be hard to beat from there. Norman Clark in third. Alexander, sorry mate, the feed's a little bit hazy for me here.
That's right. Alexander Sheridan lining up next to him on row 2. On row 3 we got Shane Bowen and Ben Vickers. On row number 4 is Kate Donnelly and Noddy Tompkins. On row number 5 it's Gary Wellman with Dave Douglas. Row number 6 we've got Maxie Marshall and Stevie Dubb. Row number 7 sees Riley Curtis next to Joshua Carroll Walden. On row number 8 it's Troy Davidson and Jamie Nan Curvis. Row number 9 is Paul Jackson with returning Roger Clark. Row number 10 is Nigel Patton with Brad Fenley. Row number 11 we've got Jake Maloney with Scott Lefborough. Row 12 is Chris Finley and Todd Maxfield. Row 13 is Nicholas Walsh with Ben Henker. Row 14 is Aaron Dillon and Matt Hunter out on track tonight. Good to see that car out there. Lachlan Urquio lines up next to Ruben Phelps on the 15th row, and rounding us out tonight it is Mr. Matty Ray of SRM.
It's unusual to see Matty Ray back there, but we've seen him in the last couple of weeks in the Daytona 500s that he's run, and also in the truck races that he's run so far for ANZCAR. Starting at the back and working his way through, and he has had a couple of podiums.
He has indeed, as the cars are coming up to the line to start this 130 laps here at Atlanta for the ANZCAR trucks. The green flag drops and away we go.
Great start by both Mitch boys out the front there. Norman Clark having a great run there and going with Martin on the inside.
Low line starting to form up here with the Mitch boys jumping down low. Already they are getting themselves into team positions. As we've got up on the high line, it's Alexander Sheridan, I think, sitting up a little bit higher as they come around to complete the first lap here tonight. We get our first lap and first green lap underway as the race kicks off here at Atlanta for race number 2 of the ANZCAR trucks for 2024.
Yeah, that was a great flying rolling start. It's a 40.8 for Jason Martin on that first lap. So he's definitely got the right hand foot buried into that firewall. And Norman Clark there having a great run. He's staying with these boys, so maybe he's brought some of the storm with him. Further back on that inside row, we can see Dave Douglas just settling in. Noddy Tompkins up there on the high line in the truck number 80, followed by Stevie Williams, one of the DPR guys. So some heavy hitters in this field. Gary Wellman's sitting back there in the 45 truck. He's no slouch on these types of speedways with plenty of V8 supercar experience there. Yep, alright, I'll endeavour. So we've got this bottom line starting to form up now. A few people further back still too wide, but we should see everyone drop down to that low line until that high line starts to come in. Unfortunately, won't be able to get that working unless we've got trucks up there. But further back, we've got Noddy Tompkins up there leading that outside line now. Right at the back of the field, we've got the 3 of the SRM Australian trucks lined up now. Matty Hunter's dropped back a little bit. He's back down in 28th position, but nevertheless he will definitely come further forward. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, we still got the 2 Mitch boys, followed by Norman Clark. Bit of a train here at the moment. Everyone's just settled down. Got 130 laps to get through, so we have known in the past that this track is a little bit harsh on tyres. So just start settling in, looking after those tyres. Gary Wellman has moved to the outside, but he's by himself up there, so needs a few people to get up there and have a run. Further back in the field, we've got Nigel Patton leading the second group of 4 trucks back there with the sorry, the numbers just start playing up with me at the moment. Good to see a return to the track for Maxie Marshall this year. He's come along a fair way since he started last year, so good for him to be back out there. We can see some of those trucks now starting to catch up with Gary and Wellman on that high line, so we should see another line starting to form and hopefully move to the front to try and challenge the Mitch Motorsport boys.
We do have to apologise. Unfortunately, Facebook has is having an issue at the moment, so we've lost our Facebook stream, but we are still live on YouTube. So we will try and get that all fixed up at some stage as we continue here at Atlanta. But it is Jason Martin up there in the lead still, and well, the Mitch Motorsport boys, they had a really good result last week. This week has been a little bit rougher. What can they do here with the trucks tonight?
Yeah, when they're both in the race though, Carl, you can never count them out. Yeah, last week they had a good run in the trucks last week, and and the Wheeling Tours last Monday. Unfortunately, I missed this week due to commitments with our 500 this weekend. So I'm not sure on who won the Wheelings for the ANZCARs.
It was Joshua Carroll Walden sitting down in 13th position at the moment, but JCW taking the victory in the Wheelings this week and having a fantastic drive at Five Flags Raceway, getting himself the victory there in a fairly rough and ready race out there. We also got a returning driver in the field, a veteran of ANZCAR. That's even one of the founders, you could say. It is Mr. Roger Clark out there. Good to see that car back out on track. It's been a while since we last saw Roger. So nice to see him on track tonight, and hopefully he'll have some good racing out there. But up the front, Gary Wellman is closing in nice and quick on the leaders and starting to get a little bit of a push forwards by the 0-2-3.
Yeah, just for those who are interested, Roger Clark sitting back in 21st position in a 999 Miller Genuine Draft truck. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Oh, we reckon.
We've got a wreck in the background, and looks like Aaron Dillon. Quite a few cars caught up in that one. Let us jump back to the replay here. See what's happened to 0-1-3 and see if we can figure out what has happened here to bring out the first caution flag of the night in the mid-pack here at Atlanta.
So that pink truck, from what I see, it's just got loose there, as we said, coming through 1 and 2, and has stepped himself out, and Noddy Tompkins there in the 80 truck had nowhere to go but into the side of him, and that has sent him down. And Roger Clark, very lucky not to get him the 0-1-3, but he did get hit by Brad Fenley in the 59 VB truck.
Yeah, let's jump on board with Roger Clark and see that one from his point of view here as we come up to that wreck. A very close call indeed for the 999 car, and we were talking about this earlier, Mark, weren't we? It's so easy for the cars to get loose here at Atlanta, and it's so easy to snap, and look at how close that was, just sliding the way through there. Fantastic job of avoidance, has not lost any of that talent. We've got cars in pit lane now though, as they are moving in to the lane and popping out, getting their first stops done here tonight, and seeing what they can get done with fuel and tyres now, Mark.
Yeah, that's very unusual. Everyone apart from the number 10 truck, Dave Douglas, DD, has come into pit lane, and he's decided to stay out. So obviously Dave's going for the alternate strategy tonight. So let's see how that works out for him.
Trying something different out there. Look, it's always worth having a bit of a gamble on those sort of alternate strategies sometimes, because you can sometimes find yourself in a very good position, and that can really help you out.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just answering one of the chats there. Yeah, definitely, and we've just got our fuel number through too, Carl. So we're looking at roughly 41 laps. So we're not going to see these guys back in the pit lane until mid-50 lap, the mid-50s. So definitely well worth trying something different here. And as the sun starts to go down, the track will cool off. Yeah, let's see what Dave can do with this alternate.
Absolutely. See what the number 10 can do in today's race, and it's going to be it's going to be hot and furious out there. The temperatures, we said, was relatively high, as it always is at Atlanta, and that can always come into play in the runs as you're going along, and it can get a little bit just that little bit perilous out there sometimes.
Yeah, and if you if you're not careful, you'll burn off the right front and the right rear here. So really got to be careful on turning in. Don't want to put too much stress on that right side tyre, on those right side tyres.
Yeah, it's such an odd little track now, Atlanta, because it's very super speedway like, but it is not quite the same on the tyres as they come up to the line, and they are about to go back to green flag racing here. Douglas gets a good start away as they come through and start the next lap, and a couple of people just giving the wall a little clip here and there as well, but it looks like everybody is away relatively safely at the moment.
And we've seen that low line starting to form up, and everyone dropping down. Got a few brave souls up on that high line at the moment, so we'll see if they can hook up and move forward. Just seen in the back, I was just going to say, just seen in the background that grey number 16 truck looking at jumping up, but he's stayed on that low line at the moment. Todd Maxfield there. Another sim boy. They've grown again tonight, Carl.
But there are many sim boys out there, as is tradition. Always, you cut one sim boy's head off and another one will appear. They are like hydras.
Just looking further back down the pack in position 20, 21 and 22, I think, I do believe. The Valve Esports of those boys are all lined up there. It's good to see them out. We touched on it last week. The senior driver in that team, Jamie Nankervis, and the rookie Scott Lethborough there. So be good to see them both move through the field, and behind them is I found another sim boy in Nicholas Welch.
Yeah, quite a few out there tonight. Got Kate Donnelly as well, and quite a few of the sim boys out in force, as is tradition with the sim boys.
Yeah, unfortunately we see there on those pictures Noddy Tompkins going a lap down. That's going to make a long night for him. However, should we get another caution, he will get that lucky dog and get that lap back.
Yeah, possibly suffering a little bit of damage as well, unfortunately, because that car is not looking too quick.
No, he did get mixed up on in that wreck, so we'll maybe get a chance to have a chat with him later on in the race if he puts the truck behind the fence. But nevertheless, out the front we have two wide racing here at Atlanta.
And the packs are forming up nicely and chugging along at the moment. We've got the two lines formed up between the two cars there, of the 77 of Ben Vickers up the front, and Josh Micklemore as well, and they're working well with each other at the moment.
Yeah, not trying to bump each other, just running along. Ben's decided he's had enough of that high line and dropped down in front of Josh.
As they're coming up to another lapped car here, and it can be a little bit perilous sometimes depending on where you catch them, and just catching on the tri-oval section there can be just a little bit chaotic sometimes. Meanwhile, Nigel Patton, he's dropped off as Ben Vickers has dropped down to the low line, and that's just taken all the momentum of that high line away. And you can see Nigel there just plummeting down the order at the moment, unfortunately. Oh, getting very loose. Bit of a bump from behind with Chris Finlay there. A little bit of bump drafting through the corner. That's not where you want to be bumping into each other. It gets very, very sketchy very, very quickly when you do that. Great save by those guys. Gary Wellman as well getting very loose there too. That high line is looking a little bit perilous tonight, Mark.
It definitely is. The sun's been baking it and making it nice and hot, so that will be definitely hot. A hot section of the track. However, they will be looking at getting up there at some point, because the running around the bottom here will heat up that low line, and we may even see some guys getting loose there on that low line.
Yeah, we'll see who can get it working, and of course with the new updates with how the tracks evolve, that can really make a difference through those lines as they start to evolve as the race goes on. And it's another thing that just can catch you out if you're not used to it. Very easy to get caught in a line that isn't working for you.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, Alexander's Sheridan has been left up there high and dry in the 555 Cobalt car truck. So there's just no room for him to get that back down. And this is another place like Daytona where you really don't want to try and force a hole. Although saying that, Wellman's now jumped up there with him.
As they keep coming along here, up the front it's looking relatively steady, but further back this is where the action's starting to happen. We've got Sheridan up there with Gary Wellman. But not too many other takers up on that high line at the moment.
No, everyone's playing it safe and sticking down that low line. I think probably when we reach that 100 lap mark, that's where we'll really start to see these guys really look at that high line. Saying that though, who's that that's just come up there?
You've got Chris Finlay up behind.
Yep. And now the 16's jumped up there, and Roger Clark is also up there on that high line now.
Yeah, so quite a few people changing and shopping positions at the moment, and look, trying to get that high line working. And if they can get it working, it will work very well. But you've got to get it working, and you've got to be confident up there. And it's just getting everybody in a line and getting everybody comfortable with the drafting up there as well, because you are running in a draft pack, but this place is so much shorter than your regular super speedway. It can catch you out quite quickly, just because the straights are not nearly as long as places like Dega and Daytona.
Percent, Carl. You kind of sort of get straight, and then you've got to start turning again. So, and that's where we've seen those guys that just mistime their bump and get those guys loose.
So easy to mistime a bump here as well, and unsettle the truck as well, because you do get a bit of time away here. You do get the trucks getting a little bit more lively, and that can really affect how the race is, well, how the race runs for you as well. It's one of the sort of, it's almost a diet super speedway, but it is tyre wear is very much a constant issue at this place.
Well, that's what makes me very surprised that DD didn't come into that and take tyres and fuel, because most of the guys, as I said, everyone else came through the pit. Some of them did take tyres and some didn't. it's going to put Dave in a very peculiar spot, because he's going to have, unless he can get someone to come with him, he's going to be pitting by himself.
Yeah, he could be left out high and dry once they come to those pit stops. But what's to say we don't get another caution before then, Mark? You know that it's. I think it's a calculated risk from Douglas there, as we see one of the combat cars looking to drop down nice and low behind Troy Davidson. That would be Shane Bowen there, just looking to drop right below the sort of the quad oval section, and trying to get a nose up underneath as well. So people are starting to get a little bit impatient in the line now.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at if we're judging 41 laps roughly on a tank of fuel, that's going to see Dave in the pit lane within the next 6 laps, I'd say. Oh, Gary Wellman, big tank slapper. He's in the wall into 1 and 2.
Great save there from Wellman. Somehow did not cause the mother of all wrecks there. That would have been a big accident. Let's see if we can get that one again. Just coming through there and just slides up. And that was very scary there, very quickly. Great job from the rest of the pack to avoid making that into a big wreck there, Mark.
He was. I mean to say, Gary also did extremely well in holding it up against the wall, because what we found here too, in some cases, that outside wall will spit you back down into the field, and as you said, Carl, it would have been a mother of all wrecks.
You do get some very big accidents here at Atlanta, and if you can survive them, you can find yourself in a good position. You want to have a healthy truck at the end, and well, a good place to do that, to make sure you will have a healthy truck, is by being out front, which is what's happening with Ben Vickers at the moment, sitting up there in the lead ahead of Josh Bicklemore. And look, it's not always the best place to be. It's going to use a bit more fuel, but it's going to keep you relatively safe up there in the lead, as we see Dave just having a little blink, but that car settles back in the pack nice and quick.
I've just seen him blink a few times the last couple of laps, so that'll be just off-putting a little bit for Jason Martin there, that's right in behind him, and also the Cobalt car of Alexander and Sheridan on the outside, because you just don't know whether he's there or not.
No, it can catch you out a little bit. I'm just looking back at the SRM team, and they're holding right at the back of the pack at the moment, trying to keep themselves safe. But they've got to be careful not to lose that draft. They are sitting in a sort of perilous spot at the moment, where they could find themselves falling off the back of the pack if they're not too careful here. And that's a position where it can get very tricky very quickly, and it's like running into a big block of a big concrete block in front of you, and it just slows you down so very quickly, and all of a sudden your revs just drop, the RPM falls out, and you just start dropping back, and it's never a nice feeling.
No, definitely not. Although I definitely wouldn't put it past them to have something up their sleeve, Carl. As we said earlier on in the broadcast, we have seen them have some good results. But you're 100% right. If they fall off that lead pack, it's night over, or basically a night over, and it's a long night back.
Yeah, it's a long old lap when you don't have the pack coming along with you, and Lachlan Hopko sort of sitting in a good spot, but it's just Matty Ray and Ruben Phelps. They're just at that. You can't get any further back than that. If you drop below about 0.5, 0.6 of a second, that's when the draft starts affecting you, and that's where things start getting a bit wild. But speaking of getting wild, up at the front we have got two wide action. Alexander Sheridan in the 555 Cobalt entry. Moving up front, he's got Chris Finley behind him, giving him a good push at the moment, and you can see Ben Vickers looking to try and defend that line, can't quite get up there in time. and that's going to allow that high line to just get a little bit of a run here.
Yeah, those 4 trucks on that high line have really making that high line work. And we can see Ben Vickers just moving up track it just ever so slightly. Now he wants to be careful on doing that because if he leaves the door open, we know who's going to go for it.
Indeed, as we're coming up on Noddy Tompkins as well. So getting close to Noddy Tompkins once more, and that's going to be another lap, unfortunately, for Noddy, dropping him down 2 laps here. But while they're running too wide, it can get a little bit sketchy, especially when you're in the middle. You get very buffeted in these trucks, and it is very, very scary sometimes when you're sitting in the middle of a massive pack of cars and you start getting loose, especially as you head into turns 1 and 3.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Noddy's headed up track. So last week we did see some of the boys drop down below that pole line on the infield there. But Noddy's gone for the traditional high line, staying out of the road. So let's see if these guys can get through it. And we're going to pass him in the right time, coming through the tri-oval. So a little bit wider there on part of the track. Ben Vickers moves up.
Noddy Tompkins just gave the wall the faintest scrape, and that gave everybody else the biggest scare of their life there. That was a very close moment for everybody.
Yeah, Ben Vickers there moved up and actually thought...
Replay and just get another look at this one from the eye in the sky.
Oh, very lucky. Very, very lucky there not to catch that great 16 truck and Roger Clark.
Yeah, very close.
Just going to say bird feeding time, Carl.
Yes, the birds are very much out in force tonight in my front garden, so I do apologise about all the racket. I can't actually hear them with my headphones on, but you can all hear them across the stream.
That's all good. So we can see that top line now has just lost a little bit momentum. They've dropped back level with Ben Vickers, who's now dropped back to 4th position. Actually, he's dropped down now because that high line is now getting another run.
Yeah, Alexander Sheridan getting another good run here as they head on to the quad oval once again, and round they go. And look, where they caught Noddy Tompkins is probably the worst place to catch him here, Mark. The quad oval is just such a horrible spot to be past because it really closes up quickly and it's very easy to find the wall, especially if you're going 3 wide. It's slightly wider, that part of the track, but because of the way it's laid out, because it's squared off the 2 sort of separate corners, it's very easy to find yourself up against the wall and having a very, very scary moment indeed.
Yeah, you're right, Carl, especially where they did catch him. If they caught him in the early part, it's not too bad. But once you get into that second part of that tri-oval, yeah, it kind of sort of, if you're up too close to the wall, it will definitely suck you into the wall like it did with Noddy.
And we've seen some monster accidents happening there in the past. It is one of those spots where it just sucks cars in. They've got a couple of extra magnets hidden away in those safer barriers, and it just draws the cars into the wall very, very quickly indeed. And there is not much escape once you're up there.
Well, I think I'm going to have to find another fuel source, man, because they've told me around 41 laps. Now, Dave Douglas has beaten that by 12 laps so far.
52 laps, so well, I'm guessing then we are probably getting relatively close to the trucks being a little bit lower on fuel, so probably in the next 5 or so laps we'll probably start seeing some people looking at pit road and going, maybe I wonder if they're trying to extend it as well, if there's some people doing a little bit of fuel saving out there tonight, just trying to get a little bit longer so they can get closer to home and try and make it home on the one stop here, because that's always that can really help out. And those guys that came in for that little splash at the start of the race, they could be in a good position to get closer to that number than say someone like Dave Douglas.
Yeah, definitely. Just had a message come through from Ben Hankler, who was involved in that first caution. 10.5 minutes of repair, so he's taken that truck behind the wall, and that's not over for him. Also, the other person that was involved in that wreck was Brad Fenley, and now he's put it behind the wall. So it looks like Aaron Dillon may be still out there trying to get the truck repaired. He's still in pit lane, so he's hoping to get that thing repaired and back out on track.
Sitting in there, probably coaching some of the Sim boys, giving them some advice, letting them know what's going on track as well as they come around here. That 56 of 130, and it is Josh Mickelmore back in the lead. Josh has not been afraid from leading about leading from the front tonight. He has been pretty happy up there.
Yeah, he likes to lead from the front. So no harm, no qualm there. He's got some good pushes there. Dave Douglas behind him and his teammate. So may even see these guys start to stretch this out a little bit, because they are just starting to stretch a gap between themselves and Ben Vickers in the 77 truck.
Just getting a little bit of that gap forming up there, and you can see that the rest of that pack very, very much wanting to get past at the moment. Close gaps throughout the field. It is at the moment Josh Mickelmore up in the lead, with Dave Douglas and Jason Martin.
We've got one of the Valve Esports trucks now join that outside line, so now they have 5 trucks up there trying to make that outside lane work. Oh, we reckon.
Behind. Nigel Patton involved in that, and that's brought out the caution flag here tonight. Quite a few trucks involved in that one, as we'll just try and go back and find the aftermath of that one. Unfortunately, 48 of Matty Hunter as well caught up in that too. Let us bring that one up, and I think it may have started. Let's have a look, see here. So we've got Kay Donnelly and Nigel Patton racing with each other here as we come across. Let's see what happened here to bring out the caution flag. Second caution of the night. Big check up as Noddy Tompkins just gone down. Slowed the pack up. They've had a big check up there, and that's slowed everybody down. You've got Joshua Carroll-Walden trying to get underneath. They're going 44 wide, and that's not going to work at Atlanta, and that causes a huge incident behind, unfortunately, catching quite a few trucks out.
4 wide does not work. But that's a blessing for Dave Douglas. He's back in, and he's on the same strategy now as everyone else.
Yeah, Dave will have been very happy to see that Alexander Sheridan just missing his pit stall there, just rolling out a little bit further forwards as they all come in and get back out again. Who is going to get out first? It's Josh Mickelmore. Dave gets out just next in line with Jason Martin, and Alexander Sheridan managed to make that one work. Didn't get caught out too much by missing his stall as they all come back on to track once more. And what we might do is go back to that incident. And I'm going to jump on board with Matt Hunter if I can get everything working. So we'll jump on board with Matt Hunter, get the view from the 48 here and get an idea of what's going on with Matt Hunter, because he give me the right name. Go. As we come along here, and it's always a scary moment, isn't it, Mark, when you have these accidents in front of you, because there's not much you can do. And look, Matt's tried to go down low, trying to avoid as much as possible, but unfortunately there's that big checkup in front, and bang, just finds Riley Curtis there, and all of that smoke.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, wasn't really. He picked the line and wanted to take that line, and yeah, unfortunately, when the smoke cleared, there was a truck in front of him.
So Josh Micklemore is in the lead at the moment, the 31, as we come along here for our second run under the caution flag. 2 cautions so far tonight. We've had 4 separate lead changes. Well, 4 number of lead changes, so there's been a little bit of chop and change up the front, but we are getting ready for the next stage of this race. 69 laps remaining here tonight at Atlanta for this round 2 of the Truck 2024 season here on Performance E Streaming.
Just before we go back green, good news, Matt Hunter's back out there on track.
Good news indeed, as the green flag drops here and we get our race back underway.
Great start there by Josh Micklemore, and of course he's taken his teammate Jason Martin. Dave Douglas drops back down into 3rd place, followed by Alexander Sheridan. So not a lot has changed up the front. Chris Finley, wants to go up high and has taken another one of his teammates, Todd Maxwell. Storm Norman in there closing up, trying to close up. Rankin again in the background as we come across the strike. Sorry, Carl, just seen it out the back of the camera view there.
Big hit there for, I think it was Riley Curtis, possibly, and Paul Jackson. We missed that one. Let's try and get back to that one. Paul Jackson, lots of damage to that truck. We saw that just starting on the cameras, but we just moved away, and Paul Jackson just gets loose coming onto the quad oval, bang up into the wall, and that is that for his night. That is over and done for Paul Jackson. Riley Curtis doing a great job of avoiding that, just got away, and somehow just the one truck involved in that incident, by the looks of things, that got damaged. Couple of other guys just making little checkups and little contacts as they avoided it, but looks like the majority of the field got away relatively scot-free. Unfortunately, Paul Jackson's night is over and done with.
Yeah, unfortunate for Paul. Back into ANZCAR after a little bit of a layoff last year, and not the way he wants to come back out and finish his 2nd race back.
Never fun when that kind of thing happens. Got some cars coming into the lane.
So there's Paul's problem. He hasn't got his purple wheels on.
That's what's done it.
Yep.
As we know, racing drivers superstitious types.
I'll have to have a talk to him again about getting his purple wheels back on. Nigel Patton is the lucky dog, so he'll get his lap back, which is a good thing for him.
Yeah,
So,
some good news there for the number 90.
By the looks of it, Noddy Tompkins has taken his truck from SRM behind the wall. So unfortunately we've lost Noddy out of tonight's race.
Number 48 coming back in the lane for some repairs. Maddie Hunter just coming back out actually after some little repair work on that truck. Hopefully managed to get that back into some shape and can continue on with tonight's racing. Always good to see Matt out on track. It's not very often we let him out of the commentary booth, so he's managed to escape our grasp tonight, and we need to get better locks on the door, Mark.
Yeah, I told you that chain should have been shorter.
I know, it's give them an inch and they take a mile, don't they?
Yep. But back up the front we have Josh Mickelmore, Jason Martin out of 2, Dave Douglas out of 3, Alexander Sheridan out of 4, Chris Finlay out of 5, out of 6 Todd Maxwell. Storm and Norman up there in 7th. 8th is Scott Lathborough. 9th is Jake Maloney. And I don't know why that's jumped to 12 all of a sudden.
Ben Vickers up in 10th. I think because they're just forming up and they're just all jumping all over the place at the moment.
Yep, that's what it was.
As the pace car comes around, getting ready for this third restart tonight. This is our third caution of the night. We've seen some good green flag racing so far, and hopefully we get treated to some more good green flag racing to the very end of tonight's race.
Yeah, this place is a little bit like Daytona, isn't it, Carl? You either have them early or late. So let's hope now that that's over and done with, because we're almost mid race.
And a huge start for the Mitch boys up the front. They've jumped right ahead with Dave Douglas. The rest of the pack just getting caught off guard there a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit snoozy. Not what you need. They've actually got a nice little gap over 4th place Chris Finlay now. So although that shouldn't take them too long to catch back up, and as I say that, here they come, and they've decided to go to the high line.
And jumping up they do. The two Mitch boys working together. Not a surprise there at all. Martin and Mickelmore working in close conjunction with each other. Two very experienced teammates there, and very successful teammates as well at the front of the field. But they got Douglas sitting there just waiting for this race and sitting there thinking, what will I do? As one of the Valve Esports cars just getting very sideways coming across the quad oval there. Good save in the mid-pack there for that driver. I think it was Scott Leffler, who just got a little bit sideways coming across the quad and saved it.
Ben Vickers has jumped up onto that high line now, so he's the odd man out on that high line, and I do believe that's Mr. Clark jumped up there also.
So we see Chris Finlay at the head of that pack at the moment. He is leading the high line, trying to get the momentum in, but Ben Vickers just looking to try and slot himself down in that pack as well. So They're sort of, I get the feeling the High Line is not that fun to run on tonight. It's not quite stable. The Low Line looks a lot more steady in this truck than the High Line. So I'm expecting to see a fair few people just wanting to keep it low until the very end.
As I said though earlier on, Carl, you need guys up there to get some rubber up there on that High Line. Otherwise, come the end of the race, it's not going to be any good to anyone, and you're really going to have some real nerve to get up there and make a run on the last couple of laps. Whatever guys are up there, that line's taking rubber, and it will come in towards the end, and I just don't know if it's going to come in strong enough for a decent run. But some of these guys can run that High Line, and they're doing it right now.
Yeah, there's quite a few experienced drivers out there as well that just they're happy to bide their time a little bit. They're very good at waiting, playing the waiting game out there, and they will be trying to work out what their best option here, and you can just see they are thinking about it at the moment. I think Josh Wickham and Jason Martin are heavily bump drafting at the moment as well. They are really working hard with each other. Just got a notification that they may have made a little bit of contact, maybe a bit of a heavy bump from Jason Martin. Let's jump on to the nose of Jason Martin. And we can see that absolutely nose to tail there, really close between those two cars. They are absolutely going for it at the moment, not leaving an inch between each other.
Yeah, but how many races have these guys done together? It's great to see teammates team up like this, and especially ones that know each other as well as these two guys do.
Right, it's moving right on. Yeah, they are working very well, and they've got Dave Douglas right behind them as well. And you know, Double D is always a great pusher in a super speedway.
Yeah, definitely is, and out of these guys out here, I guess if you want anyone behind you pushing, that's Dave Douglas, and probably JCW. He's buried down in the field a little bit at the moment, but don't count him out either.
No, he did get caught up a little bit in one of the earlier scuffles. Just having a little bit of a look. But
Three wide.
Right in the middle there. That is real close stuff as they are racing along. They are getting a little bit more racy now as these laps start to fall away, Mark.
Yeah, definitely, and I know Scott Leffborough there would have had Jamie Nankervis in his ear to say, just let him go. We don't need to be fighting this early. Don't wreck. So some good driving there by Scott just to let him go and form in behind him.
Yeah, Scott Leffborough, one of the newer drivers to the oval side of things, and doing a very good job as well, I've got to say. He's had some very good results, and actually got to race with him the other night as well at Daytona in the Australian NASCAR E Series, and yeah, absolutely really good stuff. Was running with him in a little bit of a pack, and he absolutely was holding it absolutely perfectly, not making any little mistakes that you would expect for somebody new to super speedway draft racing.
Yeah, he's really only just come on board around Christmas time, so he's really and we go back through wide again.
And I don't think it will surprise regular viewers that is Jake Maloney, that is absolutely going full on aggression now. And we know Jake Maloney is very, very quick and very much one of those drivers that will take the more aggressive line as well. That 29 will go down the middle if he sees an opportunity to go through wide, will take it, and doing a great job at the moment, up a whole heap of positions from starting point.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely see he's looking at trying to split Chris Finley and that inside line now. He's been able to make it work for 2 moves. Can he make the third one move?
Let's see what that 29 can do here. And giving Chris Finley a nice healthy push at the moment as well.
Just see Todd Maxwell there get a little bit loose mid-corner. So let's hope he can keep that truck under him and he doesn't find that big magnet on the outside of turn 2.
Yeah, sort of sitting back there's a lot of cars underneath you as well, and sitting a little bit further back in line, the air gets a little bit distorted, it gets a little bit wobbly, and you can find the air getting taken off the nose of these trucks as well here at Atlanta. And it just gets so light at the front, you just understeer up into the wall. It gets super tight all of a sudden from nowhere, and it catches you off guard sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely does, and as the truck gets lighter with less fuel on it, it tends to happen more and more.
Yeah, we saw this at Daytona last week. These trucks got a little bit more skittish as the fuel burn started to kick in. They've done 24 laps in this stint, so still quite a few laps remaining in the tank, still plenty of gas left in there, but they will start to wear down, and of course the truck gets lighter as the fuel burns off, the tyres get worse as the race goes on, so it's almost a double-edged sword. You sort of get the truck getting skittish, and then you don't have the grip to save it.
So we've got 44 laps to go. If that fuel mileage is anything to go by on that first or that second stint, they can make it home from here if anyone chooses to dive in the pit lane. But my guess is, Carl, that they'll wait and see if there's another caution.
Yeah, definitely. Got to say, with how this race has run so far, you're well worth sticking it out just in case you get another caution here tonight, and well, very, very possible that you will see that happen here as well. In Atlanta, it is one of the tougher tracks out there, and it being a little bit super speedway like, it is a little bit of a lottery sometimes as well, and all it takes is one little lapse of concentration and you have an enormous wreck on your hands.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget, we've also got overtime if we need it too. So that's one thing that these guys are going to have to take into consideration when they put their fuel in.
Yeah, always good to have just an extra couple of laps in the tank if that does happen. Of course, it does cost you a little bit more time in pit lane, so if it's a green flag stop, sometimes it's not worth taking that risk because it can really catch you off guard, as the front's getting a little bit broken up here, and this is giving Chris Finley opportunity for a bit of run with Jake Maloney. If they can get a run on those two Mitch cars, they could possibly slot themselves down there. And I just saw a little bit further back, Stevie Dubb in the 98 is coming along as well, moving his way up the field nicely, and was looking a little bit racy as well, looking to go 3 wide. So I think the drivers are starting to make their way towards the front end of the pack now. Those drivers that are hungry for some good results, they're starting to work their way forwards a little bit, ready for the final few laps of this race.
Yeah, just jump back to the rear of the field. Ruben Phelps and Matty Ray still are down the rear and haven't really made any moves. So I don't know what they're doing tonight. Looks like they're just maybe out there doing a some fuel runs.
They're biding their time here, you've got to say. As we jump on board with Stevie Dubb to see it going 3 wide in front of him, as Clark in front going down the middle here. And this is the view from that car, and it gets very, very tight very, very quickly as one of the Valve cars just gets up and gives the wall a little glance. I think it was Jamie Nankervis that just dropped him off the pack a little bit there. And 3 wide at Atlanta is never a comfortable feeling.
Definitely not, and you're right, that was Nankervis in the number 8 truck.
So they settle down a little bit for a moment. But every time I think they've settled down for a second, they all start going silly again.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's coming into the time where you're taking gloves off though, Carl. You know, on lap 92, down to 38 laps remaining. So it's definitely look for some gloves off moves.
Roger Clark, they're just looking to make a move on Lefebvre, and the door closed very quickly there. That was very close to a slightly bigger impact than it could have been. They got very close to making contact on the quad oval, and there are drivers just looking to make those moves at the moment. They are really sniffing around. You can see opportunistic moves coming into play here as Roger Clark looks to make the move up to the inside of Lefebvre, going 3 wide into the corner. They are 3 wide at the moment. On the inside is Sheridan. It's Clark and Lefebvre up on the high side. Can Roger Clark make his way forwards? He's got Stevie Dubb for company. Big bump draft there from Stevie Dubb heading into the corner, trying to push that car forwards, trying to get them further forwards here. Will we see them succeed? It's just dropped past Sheridan as they are still running 3 wide as Lefebvre makes contact with the wall, and there is the wreck. Does they bring out the caution flag? No, it's not brought out the caution flag. They managed to keep going, but they have got some serious damage, and Lefebvre, it looks like his night is done.
Lucky not to have a big one there, and that's really broken up that lead pack now.
Roger Clark still moving by the looks of it, but did take a hefty whack on the side. Good job from the rest of the pack to avoid a nasty crash there. That could have been a bit of a big one there, right up the front of the pack. And well, they did good running 3 wide for as long as they did, but 3 wide here can be a bit of a disaster as Stevie Dubb's now coming up on Todd Maxfield. Up on the high side goes the 98, moving his way forwards to the front. 3 wide once again. Maxfield gets a little bit squirrely heading onto the quad oval as they cross the line, and Stevie Dubb is held up right on the high side there. Will he hold it? Yes, he does. Nicely done, but he can't make the move work.
Well, we did say it was time to start making some moves, and these guys aren't disappointing. Some great racing. Unfortunate for Lefebvre, the touching the wall there.
Jump back to a quick replay of that one, just to get a slightly second view of that. Hopefully we can not miss any action out on track as that goes on, but see Lefebvre just getting up in the wall, collects Roger Clark, and that is night done for the Valve Esports car. He's in the pits getting some major repairs done. As we take over
back up. Sorry, I was just going to say we're back 3 wide at the front with Stevie Williams now getting on the inside of
Todd Maxfield.
Right. Yes, Todd Maxfield.
So Stevie Dubb on a move now. We saw him working his way up the field earlier on, just looking a lot more racy than some of those other cars around. And Stevie Dubb wants to get his way up to the front of the pack here in the number 98 DPR entry. and he's doing a good job at the moment. He's sitting just behind Chris Finlay on the outside of Dave Douglas as well. As we glance down the pack, still got quite a few cars on the lead lap here, so plenty of action to come here tonight. Maxi Marshall having a good run in 16th position. He's just ahead of Gary Wellman and the 08 there as well. Maxi Marshall having a good run behind Riley Curtis. They're sort of in a secondary little pack at the moment, but having some good runs a little bit further back. But we'll keep our eyes towards the front of the field, because the action up there has been pretty frantic, you've got to say. Jamie Nankervis just looks like he's just getting a little bit loose up there. That car not holding on as well as Stevie Dub now battling out with the two Sim boys once again. I thought Todd Maxfield was going to be looking at making a move there and putting it 3 wide once more.
Yeah, I think everyone's just going to settle down now until the last pit stop, and that should be in the next 5 laps, maybe.
We will find out 41 laps into this stint for these trucks, so they are getting much lighter on fuel now. And will we see desperation starting to kick in for those drivers up on the high line? We often see that on tracks like this. Atlanta is a tricky place as well to get into pit lane, especially in a green flag condition. It is always a sketchy pit entry here, and that can often lead to the caution flag flying. So up the front it's Chris Finlay for the Sim Boys, leading ahead of Stevie Dub on the high line. It's the two Mitch boys of Josh Mickelmore and Jason Martin on the low line. Dave Douglas, Todd Maxfield make up the 3rd row there behind those two, and then it's Jamie Nankervis and Jake Maloney. Then Shane Bowen and Alexander Sheridan, the two Cobalt cars, linking up well with each other. That could be a good omen later in this race if they can keep themselves nice and close together in this pack. There's contact for Ben Vickers there, who just saved that truck somehow, gets that back on the track. Let's just jump back for the replay here. Looks like just made contact with Norman Clark on the quad oval and somehow saved that one. That could have been a big one.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about him a lot tonight, but the 35 truck of JCW, he's now right up on the back of this lead pack. So keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, he got caught up in an earlier incident, the number 35, but it's looking nice and sharp and clean. Riley Curtis doing a good job of closing back up as well. We saw Riley caught up in one of those earlier incidents, managed to get that truck repaired and back out on track, crucially on the lead lap. We have got 24 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Nicholas Walsh is the 24th car at the moment and is going to be looking for the rest of the pack when they start bearing down. But everybody else is on the lead lap as it stands, other than Nigel Patton, who is just 1 lap down. So a caution could really help Nigel Patton's night out.
Yeah, definitely. Now, are you brave enough to pick where the winner's coming from, Carl?
No. I will say the winner will come from one of the 25 cars on track. So yeah, that's as far as I'm sticking my neck out. You saying that, Mark, gives me the inclination that maybe you are brave enough.
No, look, I can't go past. There's 4 there that really take my. I'd have to have it put a money on, and but I'm not game enough to do it because I don't want to ruin their night, as the commentator's curse will kick in.
Exactly. We don't want to jinx anybody's race out there because we are pretty good at that, unfortunately. But there are still plenty of trucks with a chance of winning, and there's a lot of decent fast trucks out there and a lot of fast drivers as well in this top 20. And don't discount the SRM boys sitting back there in 20th, 21st and 22nd. They've just been sitting at the back of this pack all night long, just keeping themselves out of trouble, waiting for something to happen. And if we need to make a late stop for fuel, they could be in a good position to come back out and find themselves battling for the lead.
Definitely have to go down pit lane one more time. So we're on lap 50 of this stint now, so I would say in the next 5 laps that they'll definitely be looking to come down pit lane.
Will we be made fools of, Mark? That's the question.
Look, you know these drivers like doing that.
I swear they give us the wrong fuel numbers just to make us look stupid.
I'm sure they start doing that this year. Last year they were pretty good to us.
This is why we can't mention them by name, is so we actually get fuel numbers. As Todd Maxfield just clicks the wall there, gets sucked up, and he's not going to be able to get down for a while. Makes contact again, heavy contact with the wall. Maxfield just about keeps that car running in a straightish line, but that is going to be his chance of this race over and done with for now. That's heavy damage to the right side of that Seymour entry. Just saw the start of that just coming in, and that's the perils of running that high line. If you get caught up too high, you get on all of that debris and detritus and get stuck up there, and then it's very hard to find your way back down. As Stevie Dubb's getting a run on the high side now, going 3 wide. He's going to risk it up there on the marbles. Will he go to hold it? If anybody can, it's Stevie Dubb. But no, he collects the wall as well. He makes contact, that chops off that momentum, and he's going to drop right back down the order. It doesn't look like he got too much damage, but that really cost him at the front of the pack.
Definitely, and we've said that all night, Carl. If you get up there, it will suck you in, that outside wall. So, unfortunately, we've seen 2 guys in 2 laps do it, and they're basically night's done, really.
So many marbles up there as well. You get all of the debris from those tyres just rolling up to the top of that track, and once you take that high line, you lose all of that grip, and you find yourself very quickly getting towards that wall, and it is very hard to escape. It's gravity.
Yeah, and we're coming up onto Nicholas Welsh, so that'll be interesting. Finley out and up against the wall.
Chris Finlay, the latest driver to get caught up with the wall. He was going up 3 wide, trying to make a move, got caught just up high, and that just sucked him up there once more. Nicholas Walsh is just going to keep himself right up there. He's going to make a little bit of contact with the wall, but just keeps himself out of trouble there, and just keeps his way out of the leaders. But that is getting perilous up there. That high line is not looking comfortable at all, Mark.
No, it's definitely not. Yeah, it's there's only a couple of guys up there now brave enough to run it. Finley's in this lap.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got some pit stops starting to happen here on lap 117. And in comes Finlay. And is that for fuel, or is it just that little bit of damage? Is it a bit of both? We'll find out.
Micklemore's in this lap.
Okay, the leaders are coming in. That tells us what we need to know. Josh Micklemore's been leading this pack for a long time. Watch pit entry here. It is so perilous. And there's contact with Maloney, getting caught up and makes contact with Martin. That is disastrous entry. Maloney is spinning on track, Does he manage to keep it out of the way? As we try to find just about gets going again, doesn't bring out the caution, but that was a disastrous pit entry for Jake Maloney and Jason Martin.
Perils of getting off this track. It's the dip in the track to get in the pit lane's hard, but when you come in close like that, it's yeah, not real fun.
So easy to do. It's what we were talking about just before. It's such a tricky pit lane to get in and out of. Let's just quickly jump back to that replay quickly, see if we can pull it up here and catch that one. As might be just a little bit too far back. There we go. Jason Martin there, and he just gets caught by Maloney, who got caught by, I think, Norman Clark behind him, and Roger Clark as well coming in too hot. So there's going to be a fair few people taking some penalties there, and they're going to be suffering some drive-through penalties for sure.
Okay, so we've had another group in, led by Dave Douglas. Nankervis is in this time, and it looks like, oh, hard luck for Nankervis. He's in by himself.
Oh, it gets worse as the rear locks up and he slides into the wall. That is tough luck for Nankervis. That has gone all sorts of wrong there. And I think we've also got Josh Micklemore and Jason Martin having to serve drive-through penalties as well. So their race has all gone wrong as well. There's been a lot of drama out on track. And now look at the front of the pack. It's Joshua Carroll-Walden, Matt Hunter up there as well. Matty Hunter in the 48 up into second place. He's been saving fuel at the back of the pack with those SRM boys. And will we see Matt Hunter take the lead here from Joshua Carroll-Walden? Will Carroll-Walden be in the pit lane this time round? We're going to have to wait a little bit for this all to settle down a little bit, because there is plenty of chaos happening on track. Joshua Carroll-Walden stays out. SRM come in with Stevie Dubb. They've made it into the line as all contact between Phelps and Stevie Dubb maybe, or Phelps just locked up. It was a little bit tricky to see there, but that caught him off guard a little bit. And Joshua Carroll-Walden and Matty Hunter just staying out at the moment, keeping themselves out of harm's way. They might be in a good position once all the chaos is unfolded through the rest of these pit stops.
Looks like Matty Hunter's come in, so that leaves JCW out there by his lonesome. Big
fuel save from Carroll-Walden. He managed to save a fairly sizable chunk of gas out there, and that's going to help him possibly in this race. The thing it does though is it allows him to come down pit lane on his own, and possibly less chance of chaos for him as he sticks out for another lap here. JCW, absolute epic fuel save in that race.
Yeah, definitely. I can't see him getting to the end of the race on this tank though. It's if he does, I'll be very surprised. I only got 4 laps to go, so he may very. Nah, he's just caught it. I've heard it over the race radio. He's in.
So leader coming in here. That's going to give the lead to this man, Gary Wellman, who's sitting just behind JCW. Let's just see how this pit entry goes. Looking nice and clean, but that's going to promote Gary Wellman up into the lead of the race here. And Gary Wellman is in a good position because he's got behind him Cade Donnelly, Troy Davidson. So 3 of the Sim boys. Troy Davidson gives the wall a little kiss there. Lachlan Urquio up there as well. Lockie having a good stop as they make contact, side-to-side contact between himself and Troy Davidson there. Really racing hard at the moment. Matty Ray, Shane Bowen, these are the leaders at the moment. Riley Curtis up there as well. The rest of the pack have fallen off in those pit stops, those chaotic pit stops. really have shaken this race up. Troy Davison going down the inside of Roger Clark there, who is a lap down at the moment as they go 3 wide off the exit. Oh, it's getting very close indeed as we got 4 laps remaining, Mark.
4 laps, and JCW is, unfortunately has come back out behind that lead pack. So it's unfortunate, but we've got Gary Wellman, and we know he can lead from the front.
Well, what do we say about Sim Boys on super speedway style tracks?
Yeah, but you've got Matty Ray and Lachlan Urquio there, so don't count them out either.
Shane Bowen sitting up there as well in the 308. So there is a fair few cars up there. Riley Curtis. These are our top 7 at the moment. Matty Ray up there as well. So that's the group at the moment. And Joshua Carroll-Walden is closing. So JCW could possibly close on this group. Shane Bowen getting a huge push at the moment from Lachlan Urquio up on the high line. They have got Matty Ray with them too, trying to get the run here on the Sim Boys, trying to get themselves in a position where they can get themselves in front. Whose race is it? Well, it's still all to play for. We've got 2 laps remaining here at Atlanta. This race has really come alive.
He has. We've got Bowen just with his nose in front now. So let's see if he dives down and gets out of the draft. We just 3 wide touch.
There is very close stuff. Kate Donnelly stuck in the middle there, and that's broken that low line up. Shane Bowen dropping down the low now. Lachlan Urquio up high. The final lap, the white flag is out. Who is going to take it? It's looking good at the moment. Urquio up on the high line. Shane Bowen on the low line. Who is going to take it? We're going to find out very shortly as there's contact in the background. Lachlan Urquio survives it. He's going to get through, but who got to the line first? It's Shane Bowen. Takes it for Cobalt Racing. Or does he? It's Shane or Lachlan? Oh, it's just flicking around on my timing screen, but it looks like it might be Lachlan Urquio.
Yeah, it's come up here. Lachlan Urquio, Shane Bowen, Riley Curtis. So what a way to finish the race. We're really getting spoiled so far this year for race finishes, Carl.
We are indeed. Let's just get back to that one. It was a bit chaotic there for sure, and really close finish as well. I think everything was flicking around on me because it didn't know who had got it as they are coming up to the line here, and you can see Bowen on the low line. I think Bowen might have just dropped below the line a little bit, and that gave Urquio that chance. Let's just rewind that again and try from a... let's jump up to the blimp cam for that one. You can see as they get to the line, no, Urquio just gets that better run to the line and gets across. Riley Curtis comes home in 3rd, sideways across the line, but gets 3rd position. What an absolute mad finish there, Mark.
Yeah, definitely a way to finish a race, sideways across the line. So, exciting times.
Great stuff there. That was absolutely awesome stuff. And Lachlan Urquio for SRM takes victory here tonight in the trucks. The number 42 taking the victory here tonight. And he is going to be delighted with that one, I am sure.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that he's going to be ecstatic with that one, so can't wait to get him up here in the booth. Yeah.
Well, a chaotic finish to a absolute classic race here at Atlanta. 19 lead changes, 9 separate leaders. We saw 3 cautions tonight, and we saw some great racing out on track, and it was this man Lachlan Urquio taking victory here tonight at Hotlanta for SRM. We said watch out for SRM at the end of this race, and they absolutely picked it to perfection.
Yeah, it definitely did. I was in their team room earlier before we come on air, and I said to them all, good luck, and hopefully I'll talk to one of you later, and looks like we will be.
Absolutely great stuff indeed. Let us run through the results for this race. So it was Lachlan Alcuo taking victory here tonight, and biggest mover and shaker as well, up 28 positions, getting himself up into the win. It's Shane Bowen coming home a strong second place, just off the back of that SRM car, and Riley Curtis sideways across the line for third. Joshua Carroll-Walden comes home fourth with Maddie Ray in fifth. It's Gary Wellman sixth, seventh for Detroit Davidson. Norman Clark comes home in eighth position, ninth for Chris Finley, and Ruben Phelps comes home in 10th. So we roll over the pages. Dave Douglas in 11th. Matty Hunter comes home 12th. He's going to be chuffed with that one, I am sure. Alexander Sheridan in 13th spot. 14th for Stevie Williams. Jake Maloney comes home 15th. Ben Vickers in 16th spot with Kate Donnelly in 17th. 18th for Jason Martin. 19th for Nigel Patton. And Maxi Marshall in 20th. Roger Clark comes home 21st on his return to the series with Nicholas Walsh 22nd. Josh Mickelwell 23rd with Jamie Nankervis 24th. Todd Maxfield 25th. 26th for Scott Lefebvre. 27th for Paul Jackson. Noddy Tompkins 28th. 29th for Aaron Dillon. Ben Henker out early in 30th, as well as Brad Fenley out in that early incident. Unfortunate for them. But one man's misfortune is another man's glory, and well, we saw some big moves throughout the field tonight, some great results and great runs for these drivers, and what we might do is start with getting some of those podium finishes up in the booth, Mark.
Yeah, let's start with our third place getter, Mr. Riley Curtis. Welcome to the booth, Riley, and congratulations on third place, and a great way to finish the race, mate, sideways.
Yeah, cheers, boys. I after getting shafted earlier with one of them crashes that happened, I didn't think I'd be anywhere near the front, but I'll bring home a wreck car third, no worries.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there was a few hair-raising moments through that race, but you've done well. You started down in 13th and up 10 spots tonight, so that was a nice way to get the season underway, even though it is round 2.
Yeah, it was a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be with how the car was handling in practice. Like if you were right up under someone, you could push even only a few laps in. You get a bit of understeer in the corner, or it might even get a tad loose. But everyone was very, I'd say, respectful to a degree, and left room for that. So like we weren't just charging hard every lap. It was nice.
Yeah, there's a few hard charges there. We were a little bit worried when people started trying to make that third row down the centre. But no harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's not the widest track in the world for 3 wide, but I mean, for how many times people were either in the outside wall or got loose and we didn't have cautions was pretty amazing. So
yeah, definitely, there was definitely those magnets that work through turn 2 and through the second half of the dry oval tonight.
Yeah, just especially turn 1 and 2, you're usually coming in there with a little bit more steam than 3 and 4, and it tightens up on you. So with the tyres getting a bit of age, even on a track that's so flat out, you were still pushing. So, and the high line was probably a little bit worse for that than the low line. I don't know if it's these new track physics where the low line was gripped up a bit more, or what the go is.
Yeah, it's I haven't done a lot of racing myself yet, so I can't really answer that. But it's definitely comes into play, the new track dynamics.
Yeah, like it'll be interesting when we get to tracks that you properly race on a bit more, I should say, as opposed to flat out. Like this is just a mini restrictor track, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Well, mate, a great way to end round 2, third place. I've got to say thank you from all our viewers for giving us a great stunt drive finish. And before we let you go,
don't thank me. Thank the other boys who wrecked.
And before we let you go, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Who we got on the car? We got Dave's DD's Casting Couch. We got Riley Curtis Design, Super Cheap, clay per view, Canaan filters. We got a bit of a run your own race champion across the rear, which is a bit of a shout out to the Alpha Blokes podcast. And of course to you boys for putting on a good show.
Yep, no worries, mate. Well, we'll see you back next week for round 3. And again, congratulations and well done.
Cheers, gents.
All right, so we'll pull up the pilot of the 308 car, the Cobalt car, Mr. Shane Bowen. Welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations on second place, although you nearly had that top step.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I didn't expect to race for the win, but here we are. It was close, but just not quite enough.
Few hair-raising moments through that race for a lot of guys throughout the field. How'd you manage to avoid a few of them?
Yeah, well, I didn't see most of them. I stayed down the bottom most of the race, but there was one crash sort of halfway through that race that didn't cause a yellow, but I got close to being collected in that. But yeah, that was the only one I really seen, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Bit of a wreck fest behind you across the line. Lucky to be out there at the front pointy end. And Lockie just had you on that end. I think if you hadn't have gone down low, you may have ended up with that win.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure of what lane to pick there at the end. I was hoping that someone would come down with me, but I sort of got stuck down there by myself. But it is what it is, I guess. You do what you can, and I don't know what the real rules were of going under that white line, but I tried to get as close to the win as I could.
Well, it wasn't that far out, mate. I can tell you that. It was only 0.033 of a second that he got you, boy.
Yeah, I'd see the results there. I'll remember that.
So yeah, well, mate, a great way to end round 2. We'll see you next week again. But before we let you go, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys and my teammates. Alex and Ben showed up tonight, but had a bit of a disaster. But there's a couple other guys that didn't make it tonight. But yeah, thanks to all of them. And I'd also like to say sorry to Dave for my pit entry. That was, yeah, I'm not too happy with that, but it is what it is, I guess.
It's a tough track to get off into the pit lane, so I'm quite sure he'll accept that apology. So no, yeah. All right, mate. Well, we'll see you next week, and good luck, and congratulations again on second place tonight.
No worries, guys. Thanks. See ya.
See ya. And of course we've got to pull up probably the happiest man at the moment, the pilot of the 42 Chevy SRM truck, Mr. Lachlan Erclio. Congratulations, mate, on the race win tonight.
How good is this place? I mean, how awesome is this racetrack? Every time SRM comes here, we end up getting a result. How freaking awesome is this? Thanks, boys. That was awesome.
Yeah, not so lucky for the team boss getting mixed up in that last minute wreck, and unfortunate for Ruben getting collected coming into pit lane.
Yeah, oh, look, yeah, it was a bit. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously stories of woe, but Ruben did well to bring it back to 10th. He didn't get collected. He had a gear shift miss, so chucked it into the wrong gear on him, and it locked the rear axle. So not intentional, just a bit of a software glitch on him, double downshifted. But then Matty, yeah, in Matty's words himself, he was probably only going to get 4th. He was telling me, so he wasn't too upset with 5th place. But yeah, it was. So it's it was a good effort. But big thanks to both those boys. We worked together really well that race. We looked after the rubber, looked after the tyres and fuel, and it really paid off at the end there when we charged to the front.
Yeah, Carl and I were saying, you guys have been running around there at the back, very quiet, and we're a little bit worried that at one point that you may have ended up even losing that lead pack. But you were able to keep in touch, and that definitely paid off for you.
Oh, look, there was a few times, maybe in the first stint, where we kind of misjudged it, but also early on, there was a lot of signs of there was probably going to be a few cautions. So we were never too stressed about it. The biggest intention was that we knew how this place races, and often you'll get a couple of early cautions and then a green flag stop at the end. So the hope and goal was to do exactly what we did and save enough fuel and tyre that we could short pit without tyres and try and capitalise on the others. So in the end, it worked out well, and it was big props to both Maddie and Ruben for helping out and working together on that one. It was a good race, and it's reflected in an awesome result: 3 in the 10, 2 in the 5, and 1 on the top step.
Yeah, well, mate, if you just answered half the questions that I was going to ask you, so well done, and then getting your crystal ball out. Mate, well, again, congratulations, and before we let you go and pop a bottle, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Big thanks to Moondog for helping us out this year. He's looking after us well, and he does a great job with his company. He's just had a pamphlet put in one of the Adelaide local newspapers, so he's done a really good job, and he's got some really cool work coming down. So big thanks to him for looking after the team. Big shout out to the 2 charities, AAAF and TS Australia. Do some awesome work and look after some great people. So go and give them a check out and give them a look and spread some awareness. But yeah, otherwise, mostly thanks to the teammates for looking after me tonight. Maddie and Ruben do an awesome job week in, week out. Love racing with them, and I couldn't ask for a better team. And then also, yeah, shout out to you guys for a ripper broadcast every week. You do a great job, and I can't wait to watch it back.
Well, mate, with comments like that, you're welcome up here anytime.
And Lockie, just at the end, were you expecting, like, you saw the wreck happening behind you, were you expecting a car just to get launched up in front of you and somehow wreck you out just before you got to the line?
I don't know if you guys watched that video of the bloke in ANZCAR, but I was keeping my foot pinned to the floor until I saw gold on the checkered flag.
It's great to see you getting the win, mate. Congratulations. Yeah. And it's nice to see you get across the line and not being disqualified afterwards.
It's all right. It's good fun. And cheers, boys. See you next week.
Yep, definitely will, mate. Thank you for your time tonight. Well, there you have it, Carl. One happy man.
Absolutely. And look, an absolute well-deserved victory for Lockie. Really deserved that one. Has had some real tough luck in some recent races as well. So it's great to see him actually getting some good luck for a change.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, you just caught me. I went to take a mouthful of drink just as you come back to me.
Yeah, you thought you were safe there, but no, you were not indeed. Looking up ahead, we're heading off to Las Vegas next time, off to the fantastic Las Vegas Super Speedway. So we hope you can join us all there for that, for the Truck Series next time out here on Performance E streaming. We'll also be running the my brain has gone dead.
The Whelan's on Monday night.
Thank you very much, Mark. There we go. Yeah, the Whelans will be back Monday night at New Hampshire. So if you're looking to have a bit of a run, head on over, and we look forward to seeing you there. And of course, there is a big event happening this weekend over on Aussie Outlaws, Mark.
Yeah, it's our 500 weekend this weekend. A little bit different tomorrow night for the duels. We're doing a shootout, so it'll be all the cars in one race, and where they finish tomorrow night, they will start the 500 on Saturday night. However, Paul Drady has locked in pole position, and Phil Otto on the outside in P2. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a great race, and the end of three or four leagues of Daytona.
Yeah, it's been a lot of super speedway action, and you can catch all that action over on Checkered Flag e-streaming. So please head on over, give that page a subscribe, just so you don't miss any of that action for the weekend. We hope you can see you there, and of course we hope we will see you back next week here on Performance e-streaming for round number 3 of the ANZCAR trucks at Las Vegas Super Speedway. For myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with the, of course, Mr. Mark Johansson, and the plethora of birds in the background. We wish you a good night, and we will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for joining us.